Doing what you need to do to prepare your space. I always highly recommend a sitting pillow. I think that's great. If you have yoga blocks, grab those. Those are good too. Welcome to Yoga Basics. My name is Jessi. Today is yoga for connecting, yoga for connection. And we're talking about connection to ourselves. So we are going to start in a seated position. And if you'd like, you can sit kind of sideways, like how I am. So your mat is long ways and you're facing me this way. Just if you want to. We're going to I think this might be a better view for what we're going to do tonight. So take a second. Take that last minute look around. Make sure your space is set up the way you want to. Maybe sit up on your sitting pillow. Start to establish your presence by really getting into your body and establishing a nice, tall, straight spine. Once you feel those sit bones on the floor and you've lifted up through the crown of your head, letting yourself arrive. For a moment, just sensing the pause. Let's take a big breath. Big inhale. Roll those shoulders up to the ears. Big exhale. Loop those shoulders back and down. Do that again, real slow. Inhale, shoulders roll up. And exhale, shoulders roll back and down. One more time, real slow. Circle those shoulders up. Big breath. And a big exhale. Circle those shoulders down. Nice. Keep those shoulders down. Spread your wings. Roll those wrists. Wiggle those fingers. And you can even play with reaching to one side and reaching to the other. Like your arms are being pulled out in opposite directions. And then flip your fingers back. So you're reaching through the heels of your hands and you're spreading your fingers out wide. Imagine you're pushing two walls away from you. Just kind of the arms don't even have to be straight, but you might even feel like you want to move them just to reach and expand and really stretch out the connective tissues around your chest, the front of your shoulders. Take a big breath. Can you sit up even taller? Drop your chin to your chest and roll right ear to right shoulder. Keep pushing those imaginary walls away. And then roll your chin to your chest, soften your face, and roll your left ear to your left shoulder. Can you spread your fingers out wide, especially that right hand? And chin to chest. Take your arms behind you. Interlace your fingers or bend the elbows, and you can grab opposite forearms, maybe even all the way to the elbows. Keep your head hanging. Relax your jaw. Smooth out your eyebrows. Take a big breath. Let a big cleansing, audible exhale out your mouth. Let it go. And do that again. Big breath, filling all four corners of your abdomen. And an audible exhale. Let it go. Let your head just hang. Relax your jaw. Soften your eyebrows. One more time. Take a breath. What can you undo before you do anything else? What can you undo? Release your arms. Slowly lift your head. We're going to take Hakini Mudra. So we're going to bring all 10 fingertips together. And this can rest in front of your solar plexus. Sometimes in front of the heart feels nice. Or it could even just rest in your lap. Hakini Mudra, also known as the brain power mudra. It's like you're holding your brain in your hand. It's to help us focus our attention right here, right now. So soften the eyes or close your eyes and take a big breath. Gently press the pads of the fingers together. Let a slow exhale out. And do that again. Big breath in. Notice what you've brought with you to the mat. You're noticing sensations in the body. Notice the thoughts, where the thoughts running to. We are amidst the eclipse season. And so right now, we are being asked to tune into our environment in a different way. There's a lot of information being exchanged. There's a lot of things in our outer environment. So take a big breath. And collect all of that attention from the outer. And keep pulling it inwards. Feel your fingertips touching. Feel your spine sitting up nice and tall. Feel your breath. You are here sitting on this mat because you choose to be here. You are here to connect to a deep, authentic, and true self. Big breath in, breathing down into a soft belly. Slow exhale as you sit up a little bit taller and soften your edges. Feel that central channel that is your spine. Notice how your energy has already shifted. Go ahead and circle your arms up overhead. Take a big breath. Reach for the stars. Palms touch and hands come down to your heart. Nice. We're going to repeat that a few times. So it's going to be a big inhale as you circle those arms up, pressing down into your hips and really reaching out through those fingertips. Palms touch. And as your hands go down to your heart, I want you to activate Mula Bandha. So this is the pelvic floor muscles. We lift up and in as the hands come down to our heart. And we're going to do that again. So it's an inhale to really stretch out and claim your space, the space and energy around your body. Palms touch. Press those hands together as you bring your hands down to your heart and think about your pelvic floor muscles drawing up and in. Nice. We'll do that 2 more times. So it's a big inhale to circle those arms up. Palms touch, exhale. Mula Bandha draws up and in. So those are those pelvic floor muscles, right? Think sit bones drawing together. Think pubic bone and tailbone drawing towards one another. 1 more time. Inhale, arms reach up. Big breath. Exhale, hands come down to heart as your pelvic floor lifts. So the energy is coming up and down, meets right here at the center. Nice. Bow your head down towards your fingers. Give yourself a little smile. Remind yourself why you're here tonight. Maybe you have a specific intention. Maybe you have a reminder that you need to give yourself right now. But allow this practice to be a movement meditation, and the word meditation to become more familiar with, to create space for, to go in and find the space between 2 cells. 1 more breath. And go ahead and release your hands onto your knees or in your lap. Switch the crossings of your legs for a moment. So we'll set that other shin in front, the awkward shin. Nice. Take those arms up. Big breath. And drop your left arm down. Right arm's going to stretch up and over. And think about this left hand on the ground, gently pressing into the ground and lifting up with that right hand. Left shoulder is down, so we're kind of drawing this left side in so that we can really lift and expand through the right side. Relax your head, take a breath. And then pressing down into the hips, you're going to come back to center. And let's do the other side. So we're going to take that right arm down and that left arm reaches up and over. And think about this right arm kind of pushing. Sometimes I even tent the palm. So I'm on my fingertips and I'm pushing into the ground a little bit so I can get more of a crescent moon shape happening here. Drop the shoulders, lift the heart. Big breath. And a big exhale out. One more time, lifting through that rib cage. Exhale, draw the belly in, bring it back to center. Both arms reach up. Give yourself a giant cactus elbow. Spread your fingers out wide. Take those arms overhead and then fold forward. Hands go down on the ground in front of you and relax your head. You're here for 3 huge, ginormous breaths. Baby, big audible exhales. Release the tension. Let it go. Awareness is like the sun. When it shines on things, they are transformed. So every breath you take, right, you increase that awareness. You allow things to transform. Let's go ahead and walk those hands in, roll the spine up. When you get to the top, loop your shoulders back and stack your head. All right, we're going to uncross the legs, take the feet out in front of us. My feet are a little wider than the hips. Hands are going to go behind you. And let's make sure we spread those fingers out wide so those hands are active on the mat. Shoulders roll back, pressing into your hands behind you. Flex your toes up to the sky. Let the knees fall to the right. You look over that left shoulder. Oh. And then knees come back to center. Knees fall over to the left. You look over that right shoulder. Oh my goodness, I'm getting some crazy adjustments here. And let's do that again. Bright feet, please. Bright hands. Keep your chest up. And do a few of these windshield wipers. Internally and externally rotating those hips. Tonight we're going to work on a lot of hip mobility. And I like to think of mobility when I do different mobility exercises, like I'm decluttering or I'm breaking up congestion. Because that's what happens, especially in our joints, like our hips, is tension starts to build, inflammation starts to build. Maybe there's an old injury. And all of that creates a lot of congestion, even clogging. So go ahead and meet me, knees falling over to the right. Now you can have your sitting pillow still underneath your hips. We're going to flex the toes up towards the shins. And so you're leaning back. I want you to try to sit up as tall as you can. Yeah. Now you can slide your ankles away from your knees so that we're more at 2 90-degree angles at the legs. And it might not be a perfect 90-degree angle. That's okay. Whew. Lift your heart. Take a breath. You know, we're not here to force anything. We're just here to breathe. Sit up as tall as you can. And I want you to start to turn your torso towards your right shin. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Now, if you have blocks around, you might use your blocks as your hand stilts. Right? So I got 2 blocks here. And if I was having a lot of trouble, if I'm falling over here, I could have my hand stilts happening here. Yes, so we're turning towards our right shin, lifting the heart. And then starting to fold over that right leg a little bit. Oof. Flex your toes up towards your shins. You got it. Lift your chest. If you have blocks, you can still use your blocks. The blocks really help because the blocks help to keep us lifted. And even if you just have 1 block, that works too. Notice your spine, your central channel, right? Lifting up from the hips all the way to the heart, to the crown of the head. Take a breath. And let's do the other side. Carefully, we're going to bring the knees back to center. If we're using our hand stilts, we're going to bring them with us as we let the knees fall over to the left. Flexing the toes up towards the shins, and you can adjust. If you can make 2 90-degree angles at the knees, maybe that. It's okay if the knees don't touch the ground. Right? This is about your hips, not your knees, so be okay with where you're at. Lift your heart. Start to turn the torso towards that left shin. And then you start to fold over that left shin. Be mindful of your spine. Big breaths. Pairing the breath with your movement, with your shape, your asana, to help you declutter. Come back to center. We're going to do one more each side. So we bring the knees back to center. The knees fall over to the right. Flex the toes up towards the shins. You can absolutely use hand stilts. Do you get it? You know, like hand stilts. You know, okay. And you can start to fold over that right shin. Ooh, yeah. And just notice, now here we are again, right? We did this before, but now we're in it a second time. Does it feel any different? Maybe, maybe not, and that's okay. Take a big breath. Can you lengthen the spine? Drop your shoulders. Lead with your heart. Call upon the healing powers of your awareness. And then we're going to go over to the other side one more time. Feet stay bright. Feet stay bright. Be gentle. We're not here to force anything. You go to where you're at. It's okay. If you're still leaning over to the left, that's fine. Flex your toes up towards your face. Sit up as tall as you can. Lift your heart. We're starting to fold over that left shin. Be okay with where you're at. Just keep trying to find length. Even if I'm just sitting up here, lifting the spine out of the pelvis. That is absolutely fine. So maybe sometimes my body is just, I don't have the mobility to lean forward here. That's okay, right? I can just sit up tall, and just sitting up tall, actively lifting through the spine, you're going to feel it in your hips, right? You don't even have to go very far. Wherever you are is perfect. Take a big breath. Beautiful. Bring those knees back to center. Stick your legs out in front of you and just turn those legs in and out, in and out, in and out. Going into Dandasana, legs out in front, knees and toes pointed up to the sky. Hands go down by the sides of your body. Press your hands into the floor. You can do palms, fingertips, or fists. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me here. Make sure those hands are right next to your hips. You're not back here. Press your heels into the floor. Sit up as tall as you can. Take a big breath. Exhale like you're fogging up a mirror as you draw the front of the ribs in and lift your pelvic floor. And do that again. Press your hands into the mat. Flex your toes up to the sky. Shoulders down, lifting the heart. As you exhale, draw the front of the ribs in. Lift that pelvic floor. Nice. Take those arms up overhead. Big breath. And then fold over the legs. Relax your head. Breathing into the back of your body. And then letting it all go. Connection is what we are here for. And if we want to connect heart to heart with others and have meaningful connections in our lives, we got to first be heart to heart with ourselves. Take another big breath. Notice what's here. Remember to be kind to yourself. And then walk your hands up your legs, roll it up. And we are going to switch positions. So finding our way into our tabletop position, all fours. And if you want to put something under your knees, if you're on like a hardwood floor or something like that, please add that. Spread your fingers out wide. Shoulders are over the wrists. Make sure your shins are parallel to each other and your knees are under your hips. Going through a few rounds of cat-cows. Drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Big inhale. Exhale, round. Tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Press into the tops of the feet. Really stretch and flex that spine. Beautiful. Do it again. Maybe a micro bend in the elbows to help you pull the heart through the shoulders. And start to find this dance. with the spine. You can play with shifting the weight forward and back. This dance between control and surrender, between engaging and letting go. This dance between angular movements and more circular, soft movements. The dance between inhale and exhale. Finish up one more. Meet me in a neutral spine. Fingers spread out wide. We're going to reach our right leg back, toes push down onto the floor. So my right toes stay down. And I'm going to pump this right heel forward and back a few times. And as you do this, let's make sure the spine is straight, shoulders are back, hug those elbows in a little bit. Claw the ground with your fingertips and just try to use just that right calf. Go all the way back, send that heel as far back as you can. Stretch it out and then push it forward as far forward as you can. 2 more times. Using the ball of that foot behind you. Okay, now we're going to take this right leg up and over. Oh, you can't see me that way. Up and over to the left. Toes are still on the floor. Send your hips over to the right as you pull that left shoulder back and look over the left shoulder. So we're stretching the outside of that right hip. Take a breath. Then you're going to bend your right knee. So now your right knee is crossed behind your left knee. Yep, kind of like if we think of cow face legs or eagle. And you're going to draw a circle with your hips. Now it might feel really awkward. That right knee might come off of the ground. That's okay. I want you to draw a circle. And think about how far back can you squish into those hips. Sometimes I sit so far back that my front left knee comes up. And then reverse the circle and go the other way. Big inhale. Big exhale. And let's go ahead and release that side. Uncross that right leg. Come back to all fours, tabletop position. And we're going to do the left side. So the left leg extends back, toes point down onto the floor, or toes press down into the floor as you pump that left heel forward. And you send it as far back as you can. You got to have a little bit of power in those arms. And if your shoulders are irritating you, try taking the hands a little wider. So right now, my pinky fingers are off of the edges of my mat so that my chest can be nice and wide as I move that left heel forward and back. Big breath. Get a full range in that left ankle. All the way back as far as you can, all the way forward. And then we're going to cross that left leg behind that right leg. Keep that leg straight as you kick your hips to the left and look over your right shoulder. Pull that right shoulder back. Big breath. Big breath out. And then bend that left knee. So now my left leg is crossed behind my right leg, and I'm going to draw circles with my hips. I can move my arms wherever I need to. Think about drawing the circles with your tailbone. Maybe sitting back, and so the front right knee starts to lift off the floor. And you might notice one side feels really different than the other. That's okay. That's totally normal. Just noticing, what does this side feel like? Reverse that circle. Getting the tension out of the physical so that we can work with the potential that's right here. Let's go ahead and release. Uncross that left leg. Come back into a tabletop position. Spread your fingers out wide and then meet me in down dog. Tuck the toes and lift the hips. Pedal the heels, bend one knee and then the other. Spread those fingers out wide. Wrap your shoulder blades around the outsides of your armpits. Take a big breath. And a big breath out. Generous bend in your knees as you walk your hands back towards your feet. Find Uttanasana, standing forward fold, somewhere on your mat. I have my legs about as wide as my hips. And let's all keep a generous bend in the knees. So trusting the legs to hold you up as you let gravity take the crown of your head a little closer to the floor. Now you can have blocks under your hands can be on the floor, you can grab your ankles, whatever you'd like. You got it. We're just hanging out and breathing. I call upon the healing powers of awareness. I breathe to connect. I breathe to release. And you're going to walk your hands forward back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And then find Balasana, child's pose. Bringing the knees to the mat, big toes touch, knees out wide, hips to the heels, the forehead comes down. As the forehead rests on either the back of one of your hands or the mat, close your eyes. Notice what's here. If you are unable to find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? Bring yourself up into your tabletop position. We're going into a gate pose variation. We're going to step our right leg out to the right side. So my right foot is in line with my left knee. Yep, you got it. And we're going to start with big primal circles. Ooh, circle those hips around. I told you we were getting into those relation hips today. Oh. Now, when I do these circles, I kind of, with my pelvis, I'm thinking cat-cows. So think sexy hips. I want you to really roll the pelvis around. Yeah, you got it. You can do whatever you want with your arms. You can use your blocks as your hand stilts. That's really nice here. Reverse and go the other way. Trying to keep that right foot planted on the floor so the inner arch of that right foot stays lifted. That way I can also get a nice stretch through the outer side of my right ankle. All right, we're going to keep that right leg out there. Let's make sure left shoulder's over left wrist. So make sure you get that arm underneath you. You're going to take your left elbow up to the sky, or your right elbow. That's your right arm. Just kidding. You got it. You're doing it right. And if you feel like it, go ahead and take the whole arm. So extend that arm up. Look up at that right thumb. Take a big breath. Exhale, bring that right arm down, thread it behind that left forearm. Place the back of your right hand on the ground somewhere. Press the back of the hand into the floor as you pull the shoulders back and look over that left shoulder. Inhale, we're going to open that right arm up to the sky. It could be just the elbow or the full arm. Look at that right thumb. And then bring it down. Thread it behind that left forearm. Back of the right hand presses into the ground. You're looking over that shoulder. One more time. Inhale, open it up. Big breath. Shoulders stacked. Open the ribs. Exhale, bring it down. Go ahead and release that right arm. Put that right hand on the ground. Then walk the hands back. And we're going to come up into gate pose. Outer edge of that right foot sealed on the floor. My right toes are pointing forward. Tuck the tailbone. Open those arms out to a T. Reach over to the right, and then the left arm is going to reach up and over. Big breath. You can look up at your left thumb. You can look up at the sky. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then bring it back to center. Reach over to the left. Left arm drops down. This is also a good spot. If you got a yoga block, you put your hand on a yoga block. Tuck the tailbone. Push the hips forward as that right arm reaches up and over for wild thing. Yeah, and you might even open your chest so much that your right arm starts to reach back. Relax your neck. Relax your jaw. Big breath. And then bringing that right arm forward and down as you step that right knee in so that we can go over to the other side. Start in tabletop position, then that left foot steps out to the left side and you start some circles. Get your hips to move. Think cat cows with the pelvis. Send the tailbone back, tuck the tailbone under. Being an active participant in my experience. Getting out of the virtual reality that is my thoughts, that is the way I think things should be, the way the world thinks it should be. And tuning into this vibrational reality, what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing, where have I been holding things? Reverse your circles, go the other way. Where have I been forgetting to breathe? Allowing the energy to get congested and clogged up. Being an active participant by consciously breathing. Okay, keep that left leg out there. Make sure right shoulder over right wrist. Left elbow goes up or a full left arm. You get to choose. Look up at that left thumb. Make sure the shoulders are stacked. Draw the front of the ribs in. Find lots of length through your spine. Big breath. And then that left arm comes down. You thread it behind that right forearm. The back of your hand presses into the floor. Relax your head. You could decide to look over that right shoulder, or maybe the head just wants to hang. We're going to do it 2 more times. We're going to inhale, spiral open through the ribs. And then the arm is a product of that. So reaching up, looking up, and then exhale, bring it down, twisting from the ribs, and then pressing the back of that left hand into the ground. 1 more time. Inhale, find a spiral opening, creating the space. Look up, reach up. Exhale, bring it down. Go ahead and put that left hand on the ground. Walk your hands back for gate, Parigrasana pose. Outer edge of that left foot sealed into the mat. Tuck your tail, lift your heart, push the ground away. Arms reach out. Reach over to the left. Left arm drops down and that right arm reaches up and over. Think about lifting the ribs away from the hips. Lots of space. And then bring those arms back. Big breath. Stay connected. Reaching over to the right. You can always use a yoga block under your right hand. Tuck the tail. Push the hips forward. And then this left arm might decide it wants to kind of reach back. You can explore what feels good over here. Relax your jaw. Take a breath. You got this. Keep that energy moving. Practicing breathing through uncomfortable situations. And even sometimes when I don't want to do it, how can I find a breath and still participate? Go ahead and bring that left hand down as you step that left knee in. We come back onto all fours. Spreading the fingers out wide. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips down, dog. 3 big breaths. Wrap your shoulder blades around the outsides of your armpits. Knit up the front of the ribs. Let your head just hang. You can play with wiggling the hips side to side, whatever you choose. Nice. 1 more big breath. Bend your knees. Look to the top of your mat. Walk or hop your feet to the top of your yoga mat. So you're in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Put a little bend in your knees, guys. Let's come up into our halfway lift. Send your tailbone back, reach your heart forward, pull those shoulders back, please. Keep your chin down so you're looking at your feet. And then fold it forward, let it go. Relax your head. Take it all the way up to standing. Push into your feet, roll up through your spine. When you get to the top, circle those arms up overhead, palms touch, exhale. Hands come down to your heart. Step your feet a little closer together. Maybe your big toes touch and your heels are about a sliver apart. Going into our crescent moon. So we draw the belly and tuck the tail. We draw the front of the ribs down. Then we're going to take those arms overhead, interlace the fingers, everything except your pointer fingers. Shoulders are down. Front of the ribs are still down. Send the hips over to the right. Press down into that right foot. Right? The ball of the big toe on that right foot, the ball of the pinky toe on that right foot. Let those hips really go over to the right as the upper body starts to lean over to the left. Shoulders down, abs in. Press those palms together. Press the pads of your index fingers together. That Jupiter finger is an important one here. Knit up those ribs. Think about this left side of the belly drawing up and in. Nice. One more breath. Exhale. Bring it back to center. Let's do the other side. Hips go over to the left. Really anchoring into that left foot. Pressing into the ball of the foot. Use your toes. Draw this right side of the belly in. Shoulders down. Lift your heart. Breathe. Focus your eyes on something. Can you press the pads of the hands together? Press those index fingers together. Nice. You've got it. Shoulders down, please. Shoulders down. Shoulders down. Big inhale. Big exhale. Slowly come back to center. Release those hands. Separate those legs. Tuck your tail. Push your hips forward. Give yourself a big cactus elbow. Open up the heart. Then you're going to take those arms up and fold forward. Dive over your legs. Relax your head. Come up into your halfway lift. Inhale. Shoulders back. Wiggle your toes. Exhale, fold. Take a giant step back with your right leg. Bring that right knee down to the floor for your lunge. Hands come up to that left knee. Pressing into your left heel, the ball of your left foot. Draw your abs in. Lengthen your tailbone down towards the floor. Lots of energy in this left thigh, as if you were going to stand up on that left leg. Nice. Take your right arm up and your left arm up. Now, if you're on a hardwood floor, you might want to slide a little cushion or something underneath that back knee. So please know you have that as an option for yourself. Drop the shoulders, lift the chest. Focus your eyes on something out in front of you, maybe even above you. Anjayasana, our lunge pose. This is all about calling in the energy to help us move forward, to help us transform what we're dealing with now into some gifts for the future. Call on some courage. Call on that connection. One more big breath. Pressing into your left heel. Bring your hands down to frame that front left leg. Hanumanasana. Send the hips back as you aggressively pull those left toes up to the sky. Now, this is a great spot for your blocks. If you have blocks for your hand stilts, I would use them. Put a soft bend in that left knee. Reach your chest towards the top of that left foot. Yes, lengthen that spine. Take one more breath. And then bend into that left knee. Hands go down on the mat. We're going to step up into our forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Wiggle your toes. Open up your heart. Shoulders back. Exhale. Fold. Take it up to standing. Push into your feet. Roll up. Circle the arms up overhead when you get there. Palms touch. Exhale. Hands come down to your heart. Step your feet together. Big toes touch. Heels are a sliver apart. Crescent moon again. Arms go up. Interlace your fingers. This time, thread them the opposite way so it feels a little awkward. Shoulders down. Hips are going to go over to the left. Press down into that left foot as the upper body leans over to the right. Shoulders down. We don't want any twisting here. We just want to side bend. We want to draw this right side of the belly in. The weight is in the outside leg. Really push down into that left leg. Big breath. Let's see if I can keep this up. Big exhale. Nice. Do it again. You got 2 more breaths. Crescent moon, so good for strengthening the sides of our body, the wings of our body. We bring it back to center, other side. Pressing down into that right foot. Weights go over to the right. The upper body leans over. Shoulders down. Draw the front of the ribs in. Tuck that tail. Can you find Mula Bandha? Lift the pelvic floor. Press the pads of the index fingers together. Press the palms together. Shoulders down. Those index fingers, the Jupiter finger, and this is our wisdom finger, this pointer finger of ours. So in this pose, embodying that insights, that wisdom. Bring it back to center. Separate your legs. Tuck the tail, hips go forward. Open up the arms, cactus elbow, lift the chest. Stretch those arms up, big breath. And then fold it over, dive down. Come up into that halfway lift, shoulders back. Exhale, fold, lunging on the other side. So left leg steps back, left knee comes down to the floor, add a cushion if you need it. Hands go up to your right thigh. Take a second. Draw those abs in, tuck that tailbone, lift your heart up. Establish a strong foundation with your lower body. So all the muscles on this right thigh are working. The top, the bottom, the outer, the inner. The whole thigh is working. If I was in that room and I came over and I tried to shake your front right knee, I shouldn't be able to move it because that foot is planted and this thigh is strong. Take that left arm up, then that right arm. Focus your eyes forward, maybe up. Pick a spot to stare at and breathe. I call upon the healing powers of my awareness. Some people feel the rain, others just get wet. And so we breathe. So we can feel, we can shine a light. We can carve new paths. Dream new dreams. One more big breath. Hands go down to the mat. This time, Hanumanasana. Before we do that, we're going to rock it back and aggressively pull those right toes up. Good spot for hand stilts if you need them. So in this stretch, we want to feel a nice, deep, deep stretch through the back side of this right leg from the heel all the way to the sit bone. Check your spine. If you put a soft bend in that left knee, does that allow you to reach your heart forward a little more? Take a breath. Yes, lengthen the spine first. The leg will come after. Then we're going to bend into that right knee. Put the hands on the floor, stepping back into downward facing dog. Pedal the heels. Establish a strong base with your hands by spreading the fingers out wide and using your fingertips. Big inhale. Big exhale. Do it again. Big breath. And then find your way to Balasana, child's pose. Soften the shoulders. Relax your jaw. Take a breath. Notice what's here. Anything different than the first time you were here? Maybe the same. Staying in a space of love and kindness for whatever's showing up for you. Like Rumi says, love is the bridge between you and everything else. The connection starts on the inside. Find your way back up into your tabletop position. Spread your fingers wide, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Wrap your shoulder blades around the outsides of your armpits. Draw those lower ribs in so that we can get more engagement through the core to help take the weight out of the arms. Walk your feet in a little closer to one another. We're going to go three-legged dog. So the right leg reaches up to the sky. Now, as I reach this right leg up, I want to make sure that the front of my ribs stay knitted. Take a breath. As the right heel lifts up, can you melt that left heel down? And then you're going to bring this right leg all the way forward and plant it outside of your right hand. Once again, low lunge. We're going to bring that left knee down to the floor. If you have hand stilts, please grab them. We're going to rock back into Hanumanasana again. So rocking back, aggressively pulling these right toes up towards the sky. Put a little bend in that right knee so that you can lengthen your spine. Shoulders are back. And we want to make sure that this back left hip, I don't want you sitting way back here on your heel because that doesn't really do us much. So if that's happening for you, make sure you scoot that right leg forward a little bit so that this left hip is over that left knee. Now we're going to floss this right leg. I'm going to turn this way so you guys can see me here. So aggressively pull those right toes up, and we're gonna externally rotate that right leg. So we're gonna turn the leg, you see that? Out to the right. And as the leg rotates, and the rotation is happening in your hip, not just your ankle. So the whole leg rotates out just a little bit. It doesn't have to go far. You're gonna turn your head to the left. And then we're going to switch. So the whole leg internally rotates, and it might not go far. That's okay. So my whole leg is kind of turning in towards the left here. And then I'm going to turn my head to look over that right shoulder. Oh my goodness. Whew, breathe. And do that again. So we're flossing this hip socket here by rotating the leg. The leg turns to the right. Your head turns to the left. Working into the spiral lines of connective tissue that wrap from the around our entire body. Connect your left side to right side. One more time, internally rotate. Toes turn, leg turns to the left as you look over the right shoulder. Beautiful. Bring that leg back to parallel. Go back into your lunge, bending into that right knee. Hands come up to your right thigh. Draw those abs in. Pull that right hip back. Think about the front of your left hip going forward. Tuck your back toes under. Now, you can just hold this, putting lots of energy in your right leg. If you're feeling like you want a little bit more today, a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to pick that back left knee up off the floor. Abs are in. If you're feeling too stretched out, walk that knee in a little bit, right? Make sure you get this right foot underneath you. Abs in. Now, you can hold it here. Can we tuck the tail? Make sure the ribs are stacked over those hips. If you want more, start to take those arms up. Whether that back knee is hovering off the floor or that back knee is on the ground, you can start to take those arms up. We're here for 10. 9, what are you looking at? 8, 7, shoulders down. 6, are you using your left toes? Spread those left toes out wide. 4, 3, 2, if that back knee is lifted, very gently put it back down. Hands go down to the mat. I'll meet you in down dog. Establish a strong foundation with the hands. Take a breath. Notice the difference between right leg, left leg. Start to walk the legs in towards one another. Take that left leg up to the sky. Reach up through that heel. Draw those lower ribs in. Keep your shoulder blades wrapped around the outsides of your armpits. Breathe. Can you stretch that leg up a little bit more? And then bring that left leg all the way through. Plant it outside of your left hand. Good spot for hand stilts. And then we're going to rock the hips back, going into our half split. So aggressively pulling those left toes up. Nice. Maybe a little bend in that left knee so that you can lengthen your spine. Stick your booty out, reach your chest forward. We're gonna floss this left hip. So the left knee, the left leg rotates out to the left. You look to the right. Breathe. And then you switch other way. And you do it again. Notice how it's all connected from the neck to the hip, from the toes to the crown of the head. My connection begins within through caring and loving for myself, being gentle with my process, kind through my transitions. Bring the leg back to parallel, going into our last lunge, bending into that left knee. Make sure that left ankle is underneath that left knee as you bring your hands up to that left thigh. Draw those abs in, lift the heart. Think about plugging this left thigh bone back into that left hip socket so that front of that right hip starts to come forward, right? Left hip back, right hip forward, just a little bit. Then if you want more, tuck those back toes and bring that knee up about 6 inches. Squeeze your booty, everybody. Draw those abs in. Make sure the ribs are over the hips. Make sure this left ankle is underneath that left knee and you're using those left toes on the floor. Now, wherever you are, you can start to take those arms up, shoulders down. You're looking forward or up. Calling in the energy of this asana. Embody the energy that this asana offers, this pose offers. Connecting it with breath. Connection is what I'm here for. Big breath. One more, lots of energy in that front leg. And then the hands go down to the mat. We meet in our last down dog. Spread your fingers out wide. Take a big breath. Slowly bring your knees down onto the mat. Balasana, child's pose. Take a big inhale, expanding the abdomen, expanding through the sides of the rib cage, and let a big exhale out. Noticing the details while still holding a broad view, aware of everything. Bringing yourself up to tabletop. We're going to go into a seated position. Legs out in front of you. A slight bend in the knees. Find your sit bones, sit up tall. Arms reach out in front. Take a big breath. We're going into Navasana. So we tuck the tail, draw those abs in, and roll a little ways back. Breathing into the backs and sides of the ribs. As you exhale, make sure you're drawing that low belly in. If there was a porcupine in your lap, you want to draw those abs away from that porcupine. Shoulders down, lift the heart. Can you soften the edges? Take a breath, and as you exhale, work a little deeper. So we're drawing those insides in. Pelvic floor in. Can you soften those arms? Find more of a wave-like, rounded movement through those arms. Nice. And what if you lift your right leg? Take a breath. And then you put that right leg down, abs in, and then lift your left leg. Lift your heart, shoulders down, lower that left leg, take a breath. Exhale, right leg lifts. Inhale, right leg lowers, take a breath. Exhale, left leg lifts. Left leg lowers, reach those arms up overhead, then use your core to pull you forward. Dive up and over your legs, relax the head. Here we are in a forward fold again, a seated forward fold. Does this one feel any different than the first one you did? Take a breath. Slowly roll the spine up. Scoot forward on your mat so that you know you got a nice, lovely runway behind you. Then you're going to reach your arms forward and we're going to roll all the way onto our back. So we take a breath. Exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. Draw that low belly in, lift the pelvic floor. So Mula Bandha draws up and in. And then we're going to tuck that tailbone, leading with the lower back. We start to roll back. Think about scooping that tailbone underneath you. Can you pause? Take a breath. Reach your heels away and exhale, roll back a little bit more. Eventually, with control, laying down on your back, stretching the arms overhead, full body on as you rotate your wrists and your ankles around. We're going to keep the body stretched out in this full body yawn. But we're going to start to activate. So I want you to reach through your heels and flex your toes up to the sky. So what's going to happen is your calves are going to press down into the floor and your heels are going to lift. Nice. So let's keep those legs nice and active. The thighs are nice and firm. Lift those kneecaps. Then you take a big breath down into the back of your rib cage. And as you exhale, press the back of the ribs down into the floor. Your shoulders will lift. So go ahead and lift those arms just a little bit. So the arms are hovering wherever they need to hover above your head. And then spread your fingers out wide. Imagine you're pressing a wall up over your head. You're pushing the wall away from you. So if you were in between two walls, your feet are pressing down into a wall. And your hands above your head are pressing into a wall. And you're pushing both of these ends away. Now draw the back of the ribs down. Get your shoulders out of your ears. And relax your neck and your jaw. Close your eyes. Take a big breath. As you exhale, connect with your core. But keep the arms reaching up, the heels reaching down. Spread your fingers out wide. One more big breath. Establishing length. Establishing connection from the toes all the way to the fingers. And go ahead and release. Bring your arms down by your sides. Bend your knees and bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock a little side to side. Massage your lower back on the floor. And then place your feet on the floor. We'll go figure four. Right ankle on top of that left thigh. Lock out that right ankle by flexing the toes up to the sky. Take a breath. We're going to take this into a twist, letting the legs fall over to the left. Right arm reaches out to your side. Now with your left hand, you might decide to push that right knee up to the ceiling. Or you can even grab your right thigh and guide it down towards the earth. Relax your face, soften your shoulders. It's a good spot to close your eyes and let your breath do the rest of the work. Breathing to connect. Breathing to release. Coaxing my energies from the confines of tension and stress. Nourishing my overused joints with the breath. Uncross that right leg, bring it back to center. Take your time with it. Give your knees a hug when you get here. And then we're going to do the other side. So that left ankle crosses on top of the right thigh, left ankle flexed. And then the legs are going to fall over to the right. And feel it out. What does your body need here? Do you like the left knee pointing up to the sky? Do you prefer to take your right hand and guide it down? Sometimes I kind of play between both. Stretch that left arm out. Look over that left shoulder. This is a really good spot to close your eyes. Nothing to see, but a whole lot to feel. Remembering that you gain access to your pure potential by inviting softness in, never by force. Keep coming back to the breath. It's your best tool. Uncrossing that left ankle, then bringing the legs back to center. Give your knees a hug. Rock a little side to side. And we're going to go into happy baby. Open the knees out wide, reach along the insides of the legs to grab onto ankles or feet. And just like the pose asks us to do, pretend you're a happy baby. Roll around on the floor. You could be rocking side to side. Sometimes I bend one leg. Let's say I bend my right knee and I try to get my right toes towards my face as I stretch through my left leg. And then I switch and I try to do the other side, trying to pull toes to my face and the other ones away. Oof. Big breath. If you feel like rolling all the way over into Halasana, you can absolutely do that. If there's anything else you feel like you need, another pose, another stretch, you might find that. And when you're ready, shake those legs out and find Shavasana. Your final, most important pose. So take a second. If you're still stretching, got about another 45 seconds to finish it up. Finding your way into the integration phase. So make sure you're comfortable. If having your legs extended doesn't feel good on your lower back, bend your knees. And if you are going to bend your knees with your feet on the ground, feet are wide so the knees can fall together like the top of a triangle. Relax your rib cage down. Get your shoulders out of your ears. And bring your chin down a little bit so the back of the neck is nice and long. Take a big breath and let that breath be received into a soft belly. And let a slow exhale out, letting your arms lengthen down by your sides, palms up. Or maybe your elbows bend and your hands rest on your abdomen. And take another slow, deep breath, breathing down into a soft belly. The quiet exhale out, relax your jaw, release the tongue off the roof of the mouth. Soften the eyes and smooth out the eyebrows. Go in and in. Be the space between two selves. The vast, resounding silence in which spirit dwells. Be sugar dissolving on the tongue of life. Dive in and in as deep as you can dive. Be infinite, ecstatic truth. Be love conceived and born in union. Be exactly what you seek. The beloved, singing yes, tasting yes, embracing yes, until there is only essence. The all of everything, expressing through you as you. Go in and turn away from nothing that you find. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti. 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 without moving or changing anything. Just start to notice. Feel the ground underneath you, the space above and around you. Notice how the breath moves through you. And as you collect your consciousness, notice how your awareness expands. Allow your first movement to be a big, full belly breath in, followed by a nice, long exhale out, connecting the outsides and the insides. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And gently rock your head side to side. And when you're ready, starting to bend your knees. Take your time. Taking a breath, rolling over onto your favorite side. Taking another breath as you lay on your side, and then finding your way up into your seated position. Maybe keeping the eyes closed or at least soft. You find your way up back where you started. And as you come up to seated, place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. And take a big breath. Maybe keeping the eyes closed, maybe just staring down at the ground. Feel this body breathing underneath your hands. This connection you've created. Allow the corners of your mouth to curl up to your ears. Giving yourself a big smile and telling yourself, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Showing up to practice. Practice connecting. Bring your palms together, hands at your heart. Let's take the thumbs to the third eye, space between the eyebrows. As we close our practice, calling on your best self, our best selves to come out through our thoughts. Thumbs on the lips, calling on our best selves to come out through our words. And then thumbs on the heart. Call on our best selves to come out through our actions. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide, and from my heart to yours. Namaste.